Hello, welcome. Welcome back to another Onkruid video. Welcome back to another unedited Soulstone Survivors video. An update just dropped today where they released new weapons for all the additional characters. So if we would, for example, go over to, let's say, the Necromancer, we would select him. We go to the Blacksmith. Okay, apparently we just select them over here. We can craft new weapons for all of them. So let's try it out for size, shall we? Well, first off, I would like to just go off the list, but my Paladin, my Assassin, and my Legionnaire levels are actually quite low. So maybe, for once, we will switch it up for a second, and we will go for a non-curse playthrough of one of the levels. Let's go for the level that we are not headed for, and let's remove all curses. Oh, I guess we can just press this button. There we go. And then let's go for a fast victory. Oh, I don't know what my build is. I want to have a decent build at least. Let's quickly check that out though. With build I always mean my runes, because this was just still random crap from when I didn't know how the things worked, which might still be the case, but let's go for the old classic. The ones we all love. There we go. I would love to have some multicast mastery as well, and then a dash mastery to finish it up. Should be nice and potent. I would like to go to this map where the cursors are not enabled, and let's just go straight into it. Haven't played with the Paladin for a while, and I haven't played without curses for a while. The grind has just been going on for so long. And look at this, we're playing in a little winter version of the map with a giant teleporter over here. I think this is like the secret boss, but I don't think it has been released yet. I think it's coming in the future. Alright, oh, well, or is it? What's happening? What are these new portals? I don't know, the future will probably tell us what that is all about. But either way, also I think some new skills got added because of some new prestige level achievements with characters that were already there. I know, for example, that the Beast Master or the Woods Master, the Radagast guy, I know that he can summon boars now. So that sounds very cool. And then I also know that, yeah, the other characters got new abilities as well, but I don't know them by heart because they were a bit less divergent from what we are already used to, if you will. Let's go for Flurry to apply all the negative effects in the world. Is it Flurry or Furry? No, it's Flurry. And with Furry I meant Fury, by the way. Divergent. That's a series of movies rather, that has been out for a whole while. I presume everybody here has probably seen it, the Divergent series of movies. It is with the actress who plays Hazel Grace in The Fault in Our Stars, and it's also with the actor that plays Augustus Waters in that movie. I think so, at least. Yeah, I do think so. It's kind of like very, very similar to the Hunger Games, though. That's pretty much the main gist I remember of that series, that Divergent was actually quite similar to the Hunger Games, especially in like the general aesthetics of like, oh, we are teens in peril, we're in a perilous situation and we need to fight the system to get ourselves out and also fight each other for a little bit. It's kind of in the same boat as the Maze Runner. Like, all those three series of movies kind of blend together in my head. Although maybe I think that the Hunger Games is still like of a bit of another level. I think that was more of a box office success, more of like a global phenomenon than the other two. Let's go for Arcane Power. But either way, I mean, sure, the movies are enjoyable, Divergent and stuff, but once you like look through the facade of, hey, this concept is pretty cool, you see that the story writing is a bit lackluster, I think. But it's not a movie that you would, I think, regret watching, or well, movies that you would regret watching. Are there like 4 movies in the Divergent series? I think they are. And if you don't know about the movies, the basic gist, I'm gonna spoil some things. The basic gist is that society has kind of collapsed, if I'm not mistaken, and to bring back order to the world, they have kind of made it so that there are 4 giant classes of humans. You have the people that are very smart, you have the people that are working with their hands, you have the people that are kind of keeping the peace, you have the people that are caring for other people. I don't remember it exactly because it's been a whole while since I've actually seen it myself. But that's pretty much the main gist of things. And then this main character, the girl we are following, I don't know her name in that movie. I know that she's Hazel Grace in Fault in Our Stars. But she basically kind of makes everyone around her believe that she is gonna choose the faction her parents are also in, because that is what normally happens. But then all of a sudden she switches into the divergent category, which are like the badasses that try to keep the peace among the factions. I'm going with a double beam build because I believe that that is also very nice for applying a whole bunch of negative effects at once. I don't know how we're doing for this build because I really have no frame of reference anymore for these non-curse builds. So maybe it's very slow, maybe we're doing quite okay on time, I don't know. I do know that there's a lot of achievements for us to achieve still on the front of achieving speedrun times and stuff. So it's definitely something we can still look out for and try to do as well. Maybe mix it up, not only go for the curse runs, but also go for these types of runs. Although these types of runs also have the added cost of it receiving less prestige points than a regular curse run will. Because after activating a certain amount of curses, you get, Nautical Torpedo Storm, you get like more and more prestige faster and faster, so that really helps you out. But yeah, Divergent, Maze Runner, Hunger Games. I know that my niece was a big fan of the Maze Runner series when she was younger, probably still to this day. Also of the books, because she's quite an avid reader. I try to be myself as well. I've never read the Hunger Games, nor the Maze Runner though, and nor Divergent, because probably there's a book series from that as well. All things I still need to discover, still need to read, but I still have such a large to-read list that it's kind of insurmountable in a way. And adding things onto that list again will not help us out. Look at how quickly we destroyed this boss, by the way, with this build. It feels nice to kind of steamroll again. It has been a while since I felt actually this strong. I think they also changed up the color schemes of the game a little bit again, because the colors seem to be a bit more vibrant than they were already. All in all, a nice update. I didn't read about this update or that it was coming up at all, so it was a nice surprise that when my buddy Destroyer told us in Discord like, hey, quite a decent Soulstone Survivors upgrade just dropped. But I guess it's not like it's a completely new game, but there's definitely enough new content to be like, hey, yeah, that's a pretty cool update. And I think that's the perfect balance, you know? Not completely game-changing, but game-changing enough to be exciting. You know what else is exciting? The other types of videos I am uploading on my channel. I hope that by the time this Soulstone Survivors video goes online, that I have already uploaded some WoW content, some Noita content, because a bunch of them are in the pipeline, but I haven't actually found the time to render them and upload them completely. I have edited most of them, and I do want to record more, because I definitely feel that World of Warcraft itch now that I started playing a little bit again. And I hope you guys will enjoy it, or have enjoyed it so far already, because it's quite new. I absolutely loved the idea of including like those little video game aesthetics videos in the middle of, or segments in the middle of my edited videos. Normally I would make it into a separate video where I just showcase the surroundings a little bit in silence, but mixing up my commentary, let's play, gameplay, what you are classically used to on YouTube, with like my niche of enjoying the little things in video games that you would normally just stroll past. I think that is a very, very nice addition to make it into a fun series, a fun type of content that is quite new, that still has some innovation in there. And it actually ties beautifully into something I think I want to term, instead of video game aesthetics, I want to zoom out a little bit more and term it into gaming mindfulness. I think that's a concept that is underappreciated. Most of the games we play nowadays, like Soulstone Survivors for example, is just like a routine, and it's just like a dopamine farm, and things are flashing on your screen the entire time. Everything is very active, very much in your face. And I think that video game or gaming mindfulness can come at that, where you take the time to be present in the moment inside of the video game and really appreciate everything that's going on around you for a second, instead of just moving along, going on to the next quest. It also ties into, in RPGs, like trying to read the quest text for once and not just going to complete the quest, kill all the minions you need to kill, and then quickly grab the next piece of gear and move over to the next side area, or the next area where the next quests are. No, really take your time to read the story that you are in the middle of, and take the time to read your objective and to kind of complete your objective with a bit more care. And then before just randomly accepting the reward, take a good look at that gear upgrade that you just received. And take a good look at the kind of the end of the quest line, at like the summon, the complex completion of the quest, the climax, if you will, is the word I was looking for. You heard that I was going through my knowledge of English vocabulary with the letter C, but I didn't necessarily find the word I was looking for. But yeah, I've forgotten it again. What the hell is wrong with me? Am I having a stroke? I just said the word with a C. The completion? The climax. Holy shit, my brain is being fried. The climax. And read through what you actually just did. Just take it nice and slow. Be present in the moment. Yeah, gaming mindfulness. It's a term you will hear coming back because I just thought it up while rambling on in this video, and I think it's something that has potential. Something that has potential to be kind of a concept that I developed myself, because as you may or may know or may not know, I'm a clinical psychologist and I'm very much interested into the intersection between gaming and psychology and clinical psychology. Not only gaming addiction, but also the positive side of games. And I think that mindfulness in gaming, or gaming mindfulness, or video game mindfulness, is something with large potential to kind of make us look at games differently, you know? Oh, the portals are going to be open to endless mode, right? I know that there is an achievement to achieve endless mode level 3 as well, so let's try that. Now without curses, so that might be a bit easier, because I think that our build is quite strong for now. But yeah, gaming mindfulness, huh? Sounds interesting. If you have any thoughts about that topic, definitely share them. I know, for example, that one of the first games where I encountered the beauty of gaming mindfulness was Assassin's Creed Black Flag. That was a game where I really took the time to sometimes just sail around aimlessly, listen to the sea shanties of my crew, and not necessarily try to progress the story all the time. Skyrim is another game where I didn't try to progress the story all the time. I was doing random side quests and stuff, but I wasn't doing that mindful. I wasn't doing that in like a way that was really present in the moment. No, I was just moving along from thing to thing without really taking care, or without really having a careful look at whatever I was doing, you know? So yeah, take that time. Take the time and look around a little bit. And if you don't know what I mean, look at my World of Warcraft playthrough and look at the little snippets of scenes where we just take a little breather. The UI is gone, my face is gone, and we just take the time to appreciate something that is happening. I vividly remember from the last episode I recorded, for example, that there was this giant, menacing looking bear boss that I wasn't able to clear out on my own, and I was quite disappointed that I was not able to clear out the boss. But what I did do was look around at that surrounding, and I saw like an animal carcass, an animal corpse, being devoured by a bunch of little mice. And I just stood there and watched that for a second, like watched that feat of nature inside of a video game, that circle of life, if you will. How the bottom feeders profit from the death of like the menacing giant enemy beasts, and how the beauty in that, you know? A giant bear that would normally probably squish mice by just walking over them, and now the mice are kind of reproducing, being able to survive because of the other kills that the bear did. I think there's something beautiful in there, something beautiful about the circle of life. And nature is something that never fails to astonish me. So yeah, let nature astonish you in video games as well. Let's practice what we preach, for example. Let's look at some of these palm trees over here in the corner. They are not all exactly the same. You can see that their trunks are kind of squiggly, while these ones are way more straight. Some nice palm trees down here in the corner. And then let's look at the rocks. You can see the beautiful little Christmas decorations. A little gingerbread man, some candy sticks. I know the word for this thing somewhere in the back of my mind, but I don't know it right now. But yeah, just take a second. Look at these rocks look at these rock formations here as well. There's a boulder that has broken off, and it's kind of in sand already here as well. So it's taken away by time, if you will. It's being deleted by time. But the boulder that is still over here is a very, very nice feat of nature in and of its own. It has layers, it has topography. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. What else does this map have to offer? The portals we come in on, we can see the colors that signify what type of portal it is. More Christmas decoration over here. A little campfire, look at that. It's made up of individual sticks even, and the fire animation is quite beautiful. It is easier to practice gaming mindfulness in a game that kind of allows you to stand still and really look at the surroundings for a while, because this game doesn't really tie into that goal. It's more about dashing around and clearing out entire screens of enemies. If you would listen to the sounds, for example, for a second, I'll shut up for a second so you can turn up your own audio, because I don't want to edit these videos, but just listen to the chaos of the noise in this game. You know, to turn the sound back down again before I deafen you with my screams. But you know, that's something that makes it more difficult. But then again, that in and of itself is something you can achieve presence towards, to all these sounds, and really let them come in, let them float past, let them experience them, fully experience them, and appreciate them for what they are, as chaotic as they might be. I think that's a beautiful message in there somewhere. Appreciate the little things in life, which is pretty much what mindfulness is all about, and translate that into video games, where you would normally miss all those little things because you're so focused on progressing, completing the story, moving over to the next level, to the next chapter, you know? Just take the time to look around for a second. And I think that's a very valuable life lesson for all of us. If you are not a gamer, try to do it in other parts of your life. For example, when you're studying or when you're reading, try to really take the time to calmly process what you are going through. And don't just immediately go from one thing to another because you want to be done as quickly as possible. Mindfulness is such a craze, it's such a hype, but there's definitely an important message in there somewhere, and I think it is very much applicable to people's hobbies and to gaming and stuff like that. Ooh, yeah, that was nice. That was a nice little discussion topic to have together. I hope you realized something from that. Maybe you learned a little life lesson from that. Maybe you recognized, like, yeah, that is true. I also do that. I don't set any boundaries and I go from one thing to another when I'm playing games. I don't appreciate what I'm playing, especially if you're playing something like League of Legends, for example, also or Rocket League. You're like, no, the next game, and the beauty lies in the competitiveness. But maybe go into training mode in Rocket League. Look around at the surroundings, but look at the different arenas, look at the details. Maybe turn up your graphic settings where you would normally have them turned down, like I have, for example, here in Soulstone Survivors, you know, to increase performance, to make it go faster, to make it remain at 60 frames per second. Up the graphics for a second to really appreciate the beauty. It's all things you can try on for size first, for a change. I think you might like it. I think you might enjoy it. I definitely do. I simply love, I adore those little gaming aesthetics, video game mindfulness gaming, however you want to call it. I adore those little segments, and it helps the viewer to wind down for a second as well and appreciate all the beauty that I am just walking through as Plumper, Hero of the Lions. If you haven't watched my WoW series yet, definitely go do so. Unless if I have not uploaded it yet, but by now I should definitely have uploaded it. It was a fun experience to make. Nice. Yeah, I'm really proud of myself for coming up with that concept and educating you guys on it a little bit. Maybe if you see a paper on the subject in the future, in a couple of years, you can read my name as the main author. That's a dream, of course. Really thinking about video gaming and psychology and becoming a world-renowned source of knowledge on that topic. I think that would be a very nice goal to strive towards, because it would include my work, which is very important for me, my work as a clinical psychologist, but also still stay true to my roots and my hobbies and what I really enjoy in life, which is definitely still gaming. Definitely still is. Still enjoy every single second of video games. Although sometimes I might smash my desk a little bit when I'm playing League of Legends, I still enjoy it in the long run. Today we had a very unique experience where we joined a game, and the 3 other players in the game, and me and my nephew joined it, and the 3 other players in our team, because it's a 5v5 experience, the 3 other players were also Dutch, and they noticed that our names were Dutch, and they immediately sent their Discord link. And we were like, yeah, you know, why not? And we joined their Discord and we played 2 games together while also talking on Discord. It was quite fun. It was quite funny. Oh, that was it. I was waiting for the next enemies to come in, but that was it. That was the first endless cycle. Endless cycle number 2. It's gonna be a long video, but it's gonna be worth it. I want to unlock this completion of endless cycles. And here we are in another map. Beautiful pine trees. Is this a tree stump? Yeah, I think it is. Nice. I love how they increased the little height of the boundary there. And the actual rings, the age rings of the tree are a bit more downwards. There's also some bones on the ground, which signifies battles already being fought on this battleground we have now landed on. Maybe we are not the first Soulstone survivors that has traversed these lands. Beautiful stuff. Are you guys tired? I'm starting to feel a little tired. I've had quite a long day already. I had 5 consultations today, so 5 different clients, which is enough. That's definitely enough. 6 is kind of like the baseline I want to strive towards, because that's also gonna mean that I get a lot of money, which is quite important to pay rent and stuff. But 5 is already quite enough. There we go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And not only were there 5 conversations, but the first one was already at 8 in the morning, which is quite early, because that means I have to wake up at 7. That's not early at all for some people that have been working for years already, and they have been waking up at maybe 6 AM for years already. I definitely respect that. I respect that hustle, and I respect that mentality and that habituation, really creating that habit of waking up early. But for me, that habit was not yet there, so it's kind of weird to all of a sudden have to delve into the habit of waking up early. Or well, I did it once today, so it's not really a habit yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see what the future brings in both my workspaces and whether I will have more clients that want to come in at 8 already. I was literally the first person there at my work. I had to unlock the door, put up on the lights in the waiting room, let my client enter the room, because we normally have to use like a telephone to have people enter throughout the main entrance, but I don't have a telephone in my room. And normally I rely on other people to let everybody come in to the practice, but this time around it was just me. So I had to actually go and open the door myself, which was kind of a nice icebreaker, if you will. It lowered the boundary immediately. It was like, oh yeah, it's just the 2 of us for now because we are nice and early. And immediately we had something to talk about, like, yeah, you remember why I wanted to do it early? That's what my client told me then, because like, yeah, you remember why I wanted to do it early? I have an exam tomorrow and I want to spend the rest of the day studying, but I did want to work on myself today, so I wanted to have the experience with the psychologist, but just nice and early. And immediately the door is open. The door is open for a nice conversation to come up, a productive session to kind of, yeah, be constructed by both you and your client in interaction, because that's what always happens. It's never just the client that tells you what they want to talk about. It's never just you that decides what is going to be talked about today. It's always an interaction between you two, and that's so beautiful. That's something I always also very, very explicitly state towards my clients, like, yeah, we're gonna do this together. You're gonna tell me what works, we're gonna look at what works together, and we're gonna try and make the most out of our little context together, our little sessions. And that's why I also very much appreciate, and I always ask that they give me feedback. If I use a method or a kind of speech therapy technique that they really don't like, that doesn't satisfy their needs or really doesn't kind of corroborate with their idea of what the therapy is supposed to be like, I ask them to tell me that, so that next time I can look out for it and we can make sure that it is beneficial on both sides, our little therapy sessions, that I learn from it, but that they definitely also learn from it. Because I feel like from every single therapy session as a therapist, you can still learn something. And it's definitely something I want to keep as a mentality for the rest of my life. Because it helps you being in awe and being amazed at every single client in front of you. Every single story still doesn't cease to amaze me. I enjoy listening to every single person, because every person is also so unique. Every client has their own story, their own context, their own complaints, their own personality. It's a beautiful line of work I am in, really. And I hope I can enjoy it to this extent that I am enjoying it right now for the rest of my life. Because I know that our line of work of being a clinical psychologist or being a mental caregiver in general is often accompanied with a large amount of burnout, even suicide. People often succumb to the demands of such a job, but for now, for the limited experience I have had in it so far, I have really fallen in love with the job that I have chosen, you know. And that it's very fun for me to say, to be able to say that, to be able to admit that to myself, like, yeah, I'm happy, I'm in a good position, and a part of that is because of the amazing job I am practicing right now. That gives me vital energy to continue my life. Not that, I mean, that sounds extreme. That sounds like I need energy to continue my life, otherwise I would end it myself. That's not the case I was talking about, but either way, just positive feelings, positive vibes all around for me, and I hope I can share them with you in some way, shape or form. In the format of this nice, long Soulstone Survivors playthrough, played by this sleepy boy. Tomorrow I have one more day of work ahead of me, but it is in the other workspace, so it is just from 1 until 6. And afterwards I'm gonna have my signature solo kebab date. It's something I do after work, after a long week of work. Sometimes I go and eat a kebab on my own. The kebab shop owner already kind of knows me, and he appreciates me and I appreciate him. So that's always fun, and it is a nice experience to kind of be alone with my thoughts for a second. I normally also have a book that I read when I'm waiting for my food, even though that only takes like 5 minutes most of the time to prepare. I sit down, and most of the time I'm sitting there almost alone or something, and it's a nice Friday night ritual to kind of make the transition into the weekend, you know, to kind of put on the break for a second and realize, all right, the work week is over, a nice meal, a nice calming down time on myself, all around. It's a beautiful experience. I can definitely advise people to do it, to have like that little moment on their own, a little date with yourself, if you will. I know that it is often frowned upon, and that people often realize or think like, this guy is alone in a restaurant. That's pretty weird, but try not to acknowledge those thoughts and try to just like appreciate the company of yourself, if you will. Appreciate your own company, because you're definitely somebody worth listening to and somebody worth spending some time with. I think there's a beautiful message in there for you, and that's definitely the type of mentality that I try to have when I'm having my solo kebab date. And additionally, I absolutely love it, man. The food, oh, it's so amazing. I've tried to transition into a solo fry date, which is kind of more like a classic Belgian staple, if you will, but it's not the same. It's not the same. A solo kebab date is light-hearted. You have all these vegetables, you have some peppers, some chili peppers in there as well. You have a nice sauce, but it's a nice balance between meat and kind of bread, sauce, vegetables. When you're having a solo fry date, it's just so heavy for your stomach. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. I've said it. Might be a controversial opinion, but a solo fry date and a solo kebab date is not the same, and I definitely prefer the solo kebab date. Fries is something that you always like eat too much of, and it always lays on your stomach. You always have stomach cramps afterwards, or well, not always, but sometimes. And that's only really, and this might sound a bit psychotic, but that's only really worth it if you can do it together. If you can enjoy the little Friday together with your partner or friends, or or just one friend or your family, that makes it worth it. But kebab is not like that. Kebab is just nice and light-hearted, a nice comforting meal. It's fast food, but it truly is comforting food for me. And it's probably because of like the associations I have trained my brain to make when I eat kebab, that my brain also realizes like, oh, it's weekend, that's nice. The rat race is gonna slow down for a little bit, and we're gonna just have a nice couple of days. Which is even stronger this weekend, of course, that vibe, because Christmas is coming up. Christmas is coming up this weekend. We have a nice array of family parties, family get-togethers planned, and it's gonna be fun. I hope all of you have similar plans, or you are gonna celebrate Christmas in a different manner. I hope at least all of you have a nice weekend, if that makes sense, and it should make sense. Of course, I want my viewers to have a nice weekend, because I'm very grateful that you guys are still here, still watching me after all this time. So I hope that life treats you well. I sincerely hope that, really. It might sound a bit parasocial because you guys are just viewers, so you're not really my friends, but no, fuck that. You guys are my friends. We're all friends here in the garden. Oh, my nose is itching. It's something that always happens when I talk English for a long while for some reason. My nose starts itching. It's a little quirk my body has. and I try to listen to my body from time to time. I had a client today who is recovering from an eating disorder, a very severe topic to talk about, a very severe disorder you can have, all about control, all about your body image, all about critique from your own internal voice, but also most of the time from your parents, most of the time from the mother even. So a very serious topic, yeah. And she also talked about like, I want to learn to listen to my body again, because normally to stay in control, eating disorders are in control are two things that go together like butter on toast, like peanut butter and jelly, like Onkruid and great content. Yeah, alright, either way. And she talks about like, yeah, I used to use my eating behavior as just something that I could control, something that I had to control over. I wanted to eat or I didn't want to eat, and that's that. But now she wants to learn how to listen to her body again. Listen to when her body tells her, hey, you're satiated, you don't need to eat anymore. But also listen to her body when your body says, no, you're still hungry. You're not gonna get fat from just eating a bit extra today because you've already missed a meal this day, you know. So please eat, I need it. I'm your body and I need nutrition, I need fuel. And I thought that was really a beautiful question for help, a beautiful signal for help. Like, I want to listen to my body again. I want to learn how to do that. How I'm gonna do that then is kind of intertwine it with another question she had of learning how to experience her emotions again to the full extent. Really listen to her body on that front again as well, and not block herself off from her feelings, because there was no time to experience feelings because she needed to control her eating, and that was all that she had time for. And I think I'm gonna tie those things together in a way of kind of slowing down and doing body scans, focusing, if you will. Yeah, the focusing client-centered attitude, pioneered by Gendlin and also Roger still a bit, where they look at the client's internal feelings to their felt sense. The felt sense is this vague bodily feeling that a lot of clients with problems have that kind of signify that the problems are there. That's a felt sense. It could be like, for example, an emptiness in your stomach, a black hole in your stomach. It could be like a prickly weight on top of your heart. If you have, for example, relational problems, that could be a nice symbol for that. And focusing is all about feeling that felt sense, allowing it to be there in order to hopefully achieve a felt shift. A felt shift is something where that vague bodily feeling is then accepted and it transforms. And because of the bodily feeling transforming, the actual problem will also transform, and the way you deal with the problem will hopefully also transform. And it's a beautiful approach. A beautiful approach, definitely something that suits me as a therapist, because I love to work with the interaction between mind and body, because it's not really as much as an interaction as it is just one harmonious or one kind of whole in harmony, really, your body and your mind. It's two sides of the same coin. It's two sides of the same person. It's both you. It's not necessarily an interaction, even you. It's just both you at the same time. It's nothing that can go in interaction because it's two sides of the same thing. Was that it? Okay, you can go deeper, but I've been recording for half an hour. I'm gonna call it quits here for now, but we definitely know now that endless mode can go on for a while. Increase the chance of being offered synergy power-ups. Complete 100% of endless mode cycle D, that's what we did. Allows you to craft a new hammer and a beacon of light. We didn't get that many prestige levels at all, but we did get enough prestige levels to craft the new weapon. And that's what we're gonna end this video off today with. Harbinger of Justice with the ability Hammer of Justice, and also the unlock of the ability Penance. Throws a fast hammer forward, hitting enemies in a line, then coming back to your current position. So it's kind of a hammer boomerang. Interesting. We might try it out in the next time to kind of increase his prestige level a bit more. That was a very long episode, but I am proud of the type of content I created right there. I think I talked about some nice topics, and I'm really satisfied with how it went. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you're still watching up until this point, thank you very much. And if you haven't watched up until this point, then I'm not talking to you anymore because you're not hearing this. But either way, if you just watched one single second of this video, thank you very much as well. I wish you all enjoyable holidays, which is something I shouldn't even say because this video is gonna go up after most of the holidays have passed already. I should just end it. Thank you very much. Bye bye.